Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I want to talk about the play-in game that's going to be taking place. Heat versus Hawks. I believe that game is in Atlanta. Pretty certain it's in Atlanta. The Heat were able to overcome the Chicago Bulls on the road a few days ago. Very easy win for them. Chicago did not look very good at all against my prediction, and Miami looked great. So that was that. Meanwhile, in the other half of the situation, the Hawks did not look so good against the Orlando Magic against my prediction, thinking that Trae Young was going to play well, and he actually stunk up the joint and got himself kicked out of the game with like 5 minutes to go in the fourth. Very disappointing stuff from the Hawks, in my opinion. I did not like what I saw from them. So going into this game, now the Hawks have the home court in a one-and-done situation. But the Heat, to me, just look like they're playing better ball. And, the length of the Heat is something that I was acknowledging of when predicting against them. I said that was a real strength going into that game against Chicago. And I think in this game, that still bodes the truth. Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware still pose a hell of a problem for Atlanta too. And I feel a lot better about Miami going into this game than I did about them going into the Chicago game after seeing it. Tyler Hero shot the ball. It's extremely potent. Davion Mitchell off night has been finding his scoring. So that's also a problem. It's one of those situations where Trae Young, I know how much fire he has in him, but I'm afraid he's in a little trouble right now. He didn't look good in that last game, man. He just looked bad against Orlando. And while Orlando, to me, is a much better defensive team than Miami, to anybody really who's paying attention, but I don't really know what, if I have the same amount of confidence in him just a day later after the way that he played. I'm having a hard time seeing him come in and just burn the world down against a Miami Heat team that's playing scrappy with an amazing coach in Spoelstra. I don't know. And the Atlanta Hawks, they're also leaning on some players that I think they'd rather not have to lean on. Mohamed Gay, nice player, he played pretty well. He's been good all year, but in this situation, is he a second-year guy, a rookie? I'm not really certain. But he doesn't have any experience, and he's really being asked to play that Jalen Johnson role. He did a good job defensively against those Orlando bigs. Give him his credit. But I just have a hard time when I look at him, and then I look at some of the other players that they have to rely upon. It's just tough. They're going to need a big game out of some people. Reese Shea, the rookie, first overall draft pick, kind of lackluster in that particular game. We need him to kind of play a lot better for my prediction with the Hawks to look any good if I were to pick them. He's going to have a big game. Dyson Daniels, he's been good all season long. Fantastic defensive player. It's going to be incumbent upon him to offset the Wiggins factor and the Davion Mitchell factor. This is going to be difficult for the Atlanta Hawks, in my opinion. And it's just very easy to pick against the Hawks right now. Just the way they looked in that last game. It's hard to get that out of your mind when considering what this basketball game is going to look like, especially since Chicago was really a solid team and Miami just pushed past them without any concern whatsoever in their building. You just got to think that Eric Spoelstra is going to do the same thing to the Atlanta Hawks, who I don't actually think are playing that much better than Chicago was going into that basketball game. So this is not too hard of a choice for me, even though in the Eastern Conference anything can happen. We've seen this movie a million times with Eastern Conference teams where you think everything's lined up a certain way and then they get blown out, because that's exactly how this is kind of gone. But at the same time, it's like Atlanta is just, Okongwu is going to have a lot to deal with in regards to Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware. He's going to have a lot to deal with. And you know, I mean, it's just going to be incumbent upon people in Atlanta to play better than they did to have any shot against this Miami team who looked great. And that's really what it comes down to. They just looked fantastic against the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Chicago Bulls came out lackluster, lacking in energy. Do I expect so much more energy from the Atlanta Hawks? Not given what I saw from them. I think Trae Young could be fired up, but like if the shot ain't falling, it ain't falling. And so who am I relying upon? Is it Dyson Daniels? Is it Muhammad Gay? Is it Terrence Mann for the Hawks? I just, in a one-game situation, yeah, could these guys go off? Sure. Onyeka Okongwu, double-double, yes, possible. You're going to have a possible, a good game from him. Maybe Reece Shea steps into his star bag, taps into who he's going to be tomorrow and really has a big game. But I just think it's so much more experience with Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo. Davion Mitchell has now stepped into a real role over there. Pell Larson's been having good games here and there. I don't know if he'll get his number called, but he's somebody that I think could be a problem for Miami. Jaime Jaquez, if he's available. I don't know that he played in the last game. I'm not sure. I didn't watch too much of that game after it became clear it was over. But like the point is, I just see a lot more reasonable, reliable talent in Miami right now. And Tyler Hero made me look foolish. I said Tyler Hero hadn't proved to me that he could really be consistent and play well in this one-game situation. Well, he did that. He outplayed Kobe White. Kobe was the one who looked terrible. And Tyler damn near didn't miss a shot. Now, do I think Tyler's going to have another game like that consecutively? I don't expect for him not to miss, but I do expect for him to continue to play well because he's in a good rhythm. It's only been a day. So, Atlanta's going to have the home court. I think that's what their saving grace could potentially be tomorrow. They had the crowd behind them, but they've disappointed that crowd years in, year out. So it's like, do I really have a lot of faith in them against Eric Spoelstra in a one-game situation after what Eric just did to Chicago, of whom I had a lot of respect for going into that game? The answer is no. Nah. Atlanta showed me that they lost their composure as a team when that star of theirs just decided to be unhappy with him missing shots and take it out on the ref, faking the ref out with the basketball and then further just being kind of disrespectful and childish. That type of display, he's supposed to be the leader of the team. In a win or go home type situation, that cannot be your disposition. And I just felt like he really lost his composure, and because he lost his composure, his team didn't have a chance at winning the basketball game. And you could play bad, but to lose your composure, if you're Trae Young and they're paying you all this money, bro, that's unacceptable. And I just don't know if that is going to have him come back in this game and channel some of that frustration into defeating a Miami Heat team that's probably got a great game plan to shut him down even further. Because Spoelstra does. And so with Wiggins and Off Night being out there, they're going to create a lot of problems for him, man. They're going to create a lot of problems for him. I see that coming with the length of wear and Bam Adebayo smarts defensively. I think Onyeka Okongwu could have some problems out there tomorrow. And so I think this is, based on what we've seen from these teams in their last game, it's pretty much a no-brainer to expect that the Miami Heat are going to win this basketball game. I don't think it's too many people who saw both of those games who are going to think that Atlanta's the better team going into this game. They didn't look that good in the last one. And Miami looked great. But I've watched enough basketball in my life to see these type of things flip in this exact format. And then the team that you think is going to play great ends up losing the basketball game. I've seen it before. It wouldn't be the first time. But I'm never actually inclined to expect that. So I don't necessarily expect it here. I got Miami winning that game. I got Miami winning that game. I don't know about how much. I'm not trying to make that type of prediction. But Wiggins, Hero, Bam, all those guys that they got, man, they just look better than Atlanta to me right now. It ain't really much else to say other than that. I just, Trae really let me down, man. If he wanted his season to extend, he really needs to play better against Orlando. He really needed to play better against Orlando. That's the bottom line, man. I just didn't see nothing out of him that made me feel confident in him, man. That's what it really came down to. He really lost his composure. He played horrible. And I really went out on a limb that morning and said, I think he's going to play well. And he just wet the bed. I don't know what else to say. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.